But sometimes if there is a problem with the tenant, many tenants, what they do is that they complain to the city.
Right.
And all they have to complain to a city with an anonymous complaint saying that this basement is illegal, not retrofit, and then all hell breaks loose for the landlord.
Hey everyone, it's Lawrence Mack here from Remax Realtor. I'm here with Dheeraj Bhatia from Madisur Law. Thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure, thank you.
Excellent. Today we're going to be talking about boarding and how that's different than actual tenants for the RTA, for the Residential Tenancies Act. Dheeraj, can you let us know, I guess, what is the difference between someone, what is the definition of a boarder versus somebody who's an actual tenant?
So as per the Act, the RTA, Residential Tenancies Act, a boarder is somebody that if the owner or the owner's spouse or the immediate family is occupying the same property in which a person or persons are sharing the kitchen and or a bathroom with the owner and the owner's family. Those people are called boarders. So the RTA does not apply to those people.
At all?
At all. The Residential Tenancies Act, the terms of the Residential Tenancies Act and the time limits and the restrictions there do not apply to boarders when a kitchen or a bathroom facility is being shared by owner or somebody on behalf of the owner's family.
Okay, but that would be separate, for instance, if we had a basement apartment with a separate entrance, separate kitchen, separate facilities, that wouldn't be considered boarding?
No, that wouldn't be considered. That would be just like a separate unit which would be covered by the Act.
And then you want to make sure that, of course, is approved by the local bylaws.
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah, usually we see in the city of Toronto, we are going off the topic a little bit, but in the city of Toronto, many basements and investment properties are rented. Even owner-occupied homes, just to cut the cost, share the cost, people rent out the basements. As long as the tenant is good and you have a good relationship with the tenant in the basement, everything goes fine. But sometimes if there is a problem with the tenant, many tenants, what they do is that they complain to the city.
Right.
And all they have to complain to a city with an anonymous complaint saying that this basement is illegal, not retrofit, and then all hell breaks loose for the landlord. Even if sometimes in some cases I have seen cases have come to me in which a neighbor, who doesn't like
the people tenants coming in and out,
going, the driveway being full of cars, although it has nothing to do directly with the neighbor, they can make a call to the city. They do not even need to disclose who they are. All they say that this basement is not retrofit and not a legal basement, but there is a separate family living there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's very, very good to know.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the liability, I guess, if you are having a boarder, I guess in terms of maybe house insurance or that kind of thing, versus a regular tenant?
So as I said, insurance is always required, whether you have a regular tenant in a freehold or a condo unit. You should always, many people say, oh, in condos you don't require tenant insurance because the condominium corporation has the insurance. First of all, even if you're owner occupied, even if the condo is owner occupied, you must have your personal insurance because the insurance of the condo corporation does not cover the inside of your unit. Secondly, if you have rented it out to a tenant, still you must include it as a condition of the lease that before the commencement of the lease, the tenant must provide a valid insurance to the landlord. That must be a must. Okay. But if you are doing a boarder as we described is a person who is sharing either one room in the condo.
Right. You're renting out maybe you're in a house and you're renting out the room for some student.
Yes. So in that case, the liabilities are such that, you're just renting one room and the boarder is sharing a kitchen and everything. So there is no liability as such, except if the tenant causes some harm to the property and leaves some damage in the kitchen or in the
burns down the house,
and everything, then your insurance will not cover that.
Right, because you have a boarder there and you're not just using it for your
so there are no laws as such against disallowing boarding, but if a boarder comes and does that, say for example Airbnb, it is now the fashion there, but the city bylaws, and actually a few months ago I evicted a subtenant who had didn't on the Airbnb, but the city bylaw says that you can rent rooms on Airbnb or any of such websites only if the owner actually lives in the property. So city does allow that, but if something happens to the house, as you rightly said, if it burns down or there's a water leakage and everything, and you tell your insurance, insurance will not cover that. Unless and until you disclose it to the insurance and you got that coverage also from
Just so
the
that they
insurance.
know ahead of
They
time.
know, yes.
Okay. And then again, so if you wanted to, let's just say you had a boarder just in the basement,
Yes.
you're sharing it, and after all, we need the space or whatever. What type of notice do you need to give them just to say, we want our house back?
Yeah, so what happens is that with boarders, usually there is no written agreement. But if there is a written agreement, you have to put a term in there that this is for a fixed period of 2 months. And then at the end of 2 months or 3 months or whatever period of time, we will decide mutually whether to extend it or not.
Right.
So at that time, when the term ends, RTA does not apply to it. You do not have to give 60 days notice to the
And it doesn't
to the boarder.
automatically revert to a month because
Does not.
RTA again does
Yeah.
not.
So at that time you can say, thank you, your term is over. It was fun having you, and now you can leave. Or if in some cases, if there's a verbal agreement, if the boarder can prove that there's a verbal agreement, say for example, they were independent witnesses and it was for say for 2 months, and after 1 month, the landlord, either changes its mind or finds somebody better, paying better. If the boarder can prove that, then the landlord could be in trouble, but not in the landlord tribunal. It will be a case for a small claims court.
Right, because again, not part of the RTA, so the
Yes.
LCB doesn't care.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions I have today for just boarders.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything else to add to that? Just any more cautions to?
Well, just be cautious, and when in doubt, always consult an expert or somebody who should know about this issue more than somebody who's not in this line. So consult your realtor, or you should consult a lawyer.
Yeah. Or again, if you have any questions about boarders or tenants or tenant evictions or those type of issues, just have a talk with Dheeraj Bhatia at any time. Well, Dheeraj, thank you very much for joining me this week.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.